Right, today is Wednesday the 31st of July. I'm here at the house of Mr. Reds in Southampton, Hampshire, UK, and just to do a little interview on obviously your experiences as a member of the West Indian community in Southampton. So first of all, Mr. Reds, if you could just introduce yourself and tell us what year you came to Southampton and from which island.
My name is Reds, Winston Robinson. I came to Southampton 1960, late summer 1960. Lived there for about a year, then went to Birmingham for about a year and came back to Southampton. I lived there ever since. I think Southampton is probably one of the best places I've lived, because when I came to England in 1957, I lived in London with my parents for a while. However, I'm not too sorry I've left London. I've lived in Southampton all these years and got my children, Lynette and Gary and Olivia. Colin, he's in Australia. Yeah. Yes, I enjoy my children.
Right. Yeah. So, you were born in the city?
No, I was born in Jamaica.
Right.
I was born in Jamaica.
Right.
I came here when I was a young lad.
Right.
1957.
1957.
December.
Right. Okay, so Reds, when you came to Southampton, I understand that the main area of migration for a lot of Caribbean families was what they call the St Mary's Derby Road area.
Yes, yeah.
Is that where you first settled down?
Yes, yes. We call that area the jungle. And it was good because in them days we stuck together, because we were all strangers down here in a foreign land. And those days were really, really nice.
Right.
It wasn't peaceful all the time, but more or less.
Yeah.
It was a new adventure. And yes.
So when you first came to the Derby Road area, were there a lot of Caribbean families already living there at the time, or Asian families living there at the time?
There were more Asian families. There weren't that many Caribbean people living down here then. And everybody get on well, even, the West Indians and the Asians. The Asians, as usual, still have all the shops and they sell all the stuff West Indian want, more or less.
Right. So, I mean, you've come to Southampton. Obviously, it's safer to live in the Derby Road area
at that time. Yes.
At that time. Now, in terms of black music, I mean, at the time, what sort of music, what genres of black music were you listening to, Reds?
At the time, it was like, what would they call it then? Ska, blue beat.
Yeah.
And we progress as time goes on. And it was nice ska days, because I said, it was a beginning for all of us. There's a lot of things we discovered that we didn't know in Jamaica.
Right. And so, when you were in those days, what were the famous artists that you were listening to in the 60s?
Something I can't even remember then. I can't even remember a lot of the names of the artists. But it was mostly American music.
Blues,
yeah,
rhythm and blues.
Mostly blues.
Right, right.
You have Fats Domino and all the rest of them.
Yeah. And so you're a young black man living in Southampton in the 60s. Where could you hear the ska and the blues? Were there any outlets to hear black music in those days in Southampton in the 60s?
Well, the only outlets we had was if you go to a friend's house, and coming down the line a few years later, we start having Shebeens. And Shebeens to us was a godsend.
Right.
Because that's where everybody meets up. We like the same music. And
So for the people that don't know what a shebeen is, these were house parties which were turned into mini nightclubs, is that right, for black people?
Yeah, you could say it was an unlicensed black club.
Right.
In those days, the shebeens was meant more for enjoyment, more than for profits.
Right. Because I understand, talking to a lot of people of your generation, that in the 60s if a young black man wanted to go uptown into the nightclubs, there was a lot of racism.
There were then, yes.
What sort of racism did you face if you ever did try going uptown into any of the clubs?
There's always, they'll always find an excuse that they're full up, or something like that.
Some excuse not to let you in.
Yes, but I and a few of us, we managed to sort of break all that little thing. So I got a friend, Ricky, and a few more of us who used to go into town. A few clubs we used to go to. And they used to love us coming in there. And we got so, I don't know, popular or liked. We didn't have to pay to go in most of these clubs.
Right.
Well, they knew that we weren't troublemakers. They knew we come out to have a good night, have a few drinks, have a laugh, and we were okay. We were okay, had some good times.
So, but in some cases when you did go into those clubs, did you face any hostility?
Yes, but I think I've seen so much of that when I was living in London. The Teddy Boys and everything.
Right, right.
Southampton was quite mild in comparison, so I didn't really get frightened.
And just, you mentioned, you touched on the Teddy Boys. I mean, for those who don't know, in the 50s there's a lot of racist attacks on black people by the Teddy Boys.
Yes.
Right, right.
Yeah, I experienced them for a few years in London.
With the Notting Hill riots as well.
Yes,
yeah. Right. So the shebeens or the blues parties or the house parties started in the main part because it was difficult to get into clubs in uptown, but I understand the other reason was once you got into those clubs uptown, they didn't actually play the type of music that you liked. No,
and it was, our music spread quite quickly because after a while, when you go to the shebeens, it was a 50-50 thing, half would be white and half would be Caribbean.
Right, so it was a multicultural crowd in the house party.
Normally, yes, yeah.
Right, so that's how black music spread to the mainstream in Southampton.
Yeah, I would say that.
Right, right. And so, I mean, with the shebeens, let's put this scenario. It's a Friday or a Saturday night. I'm a young black man, I want to go out, I want to experience, I want to meet people of my background, listen to the music I love. How many shebeens could I choose from?
In the early stage it started off with one, and that went on for quite a while. And then there were two, and then there were three. And at one stage in the late 70s, probably about 5 shebeens going on a Saturday night, and everybody used to visit everyone because you stay at one for maybe an hour or two, and then you go to another, and somebody come in and said, "Oh, so and so up the road is
playing them,
doing well."
Yeah.
So you take a walk and you go up there.
So I've heard the phenomenon of doing a pub crawl. This was a shebeen crawl.
Yes, exactly.
Brilliant.
Exactly.
So when you used to go into these shebeens, what was the setup like?
Nothing special. You build a little bar and you keep all your drinks under the bar, mostly.
Yeah.
And you go in and whatever you want to drink, you ask the person who's at the bar.
Right, so you could buy a drink there?
Yes,
right.
Yes. Yeah.
And food?
And food.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything you want.
Anything. We'll stop at food.
Yes,
so these were like in houses, in rooms or cellars?
Yes, we've had 2 cellars, 2 shebeens, yeah, 2 cellars, and the cellars were the best ones.
Right, right.
Because they were like underground, a bit bigger than upstairs.
Yeah.
The sound wasn't so loud out in the street.
Yeah, yeah.
And yes.
So, as if you could hazard a guess, I mean, on a popular night, how many people would you see in a shebeen?
Well, I should imagine on a Saturday night, if you're going to one Shebeen, well, in the earlier days, probably about 50, you'd probably find about 50 people in one of those spaces. Sometimes more, sometimes less.
Okay, okay. But as the blues parties became popular as the decades passed, some of the most popular ones, how many people could you see in some of the most popular ones in there? How many people would be?
Well, like the sellers, you know, those are the ones that hold the people, and those are normally the nicest ones for some reason.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So the sound systems, obviously the Shebeens, people had like the drink, the food.
Yes.
And then we move on to the sound system. What sort of equipment would they have? Because I know people talk about powerful sound systems.
Yes, yeah, well, West Indians as a whole, we like our music really heavy. We like heavy bass music. And I think in a close place like a Shebeen, you know, it really stands out, it really comes out. And it all depends on sometimes who's the DJ. You know, because I remember there was an old guy named Count, typical West Indian guy. He was a big man to us, and everybody looked to him when we go to the Shebeen, looked to him to play some nice music for us to really enjoy ourselves. And he very rarely ever disappoint us.
Right, right, okay. And so the genre of music they used to play, like you said, was ska.
Yes, in the early days.
In the early days. And then what sort of music did it progress to?
Well, we progressed, and you know, then like modern reggae.
Right, right.
You know, but the modern reggae then isn't what it is now, because it's a completely different sound, or the reggae sound, especially for the younger West Indian.
Yeah, yeah.
But our music has always got more rhythm and more melody to what you get now.
Yeah.
You know, I must admit, I don't enjoy too much of the younger ones, the more modern ones.
Yeah.
But the youngsters, they enjoy it, and that's what matters.
Yes.
You know, 'cause I remember when I was young and I'm playing music, my parents would say, "Oh, what sort of rubbish that you're playing?" You know, and I used to think the same when they're listening to their music.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a generational thing.
Yes,
I think.
yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Shebeens started in the 60s. What sort of decade did they go up to? When was the latest?
Shebeen went on until, let me see how long now Shebeen has been on. Probably about 1990, I think. I know one went on a bit longer. But the Shebeen, the popularity of the Shebeen and the amount of Shebeens we had went down to maybe one or two for quite a while. I'm not sure when the last one finished. That would be, what we not? Probably right till the end of the 90s.
Right,
Yes.
right. And we heard of British licensing laws where people would, you know, the pubs would call last drinks at 10:45, but I understand that wasn't even leaving the house time for a lot of people.
No.
So what sort of times I mean, what was the timing of the Shebeens? When would they really get warmed up? And I hear that they used to go on till the morning.
Yes. After a while, a lot of people start going to the different clubs in town. And according to some of the clientele we had at Shebeen, they go to nightclubs. And sometimes you don't see them turning up in the Shebeens until about 3:30, 4 o'clock.
In the morning?
Yes, because they've been out at the club, went for a meal or something like that.
Right.
And you see them strolling in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, and that was when the Shebeen really kicks off. That was like the best time on the Shebeen.
And that would carry on till when?
That would carry on till as long as people are there.
Right.
Up to 9 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
You know, I've stayed in Shebeen till 9 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, wow. So, for a lot of people, you know, they would go uptown into the clubs. This was later, I suppose.
Yes, yes.
In the 80s and...
Well, yes, yeah.
And then, because they didn't want to just call it a night after leaving the clubs at 2 o'clock, they wanted to somewhere where they could chill out.
That's right. And that's when you find, as I say, after a while we had a mix, like 50-50 mix. You go into Shebeen and
Yeah.
half would be white and half would be West Indian.
So it would be a very multicultural
Yes,
crowd.
it was,
Yeah.
it was, it
Yeah.
was.
So, I mean, you have the Shebeens and the blues parties, but as someone who, you know, wanted to listen to this music, you know, where could you buy black music from in Southampton in the 60s, or could you not buy it? Where could you buy the ska and the soul?
You could not buy it in Southampton. Most people go off to London or Bristol.
Which had bigger black communities.
Yes, and in London especially. My parents are still there. And whenever I buy any new music, I always go up in the markets. And, yeah.
Right, okay. And to start a sound system, you need a lot of equipment. Where would you get that equipment if you were in Southampton?
Well, I think, yeah, I could imagine you could get your equipment anywhere in Southampton. I should imagine so. I've never really. I bought my stereos in Southampton all the time.
Right.
And no, there wouldn't be no problem, I think, getting equipment.
Yeah. But it wasn't only the house parties at night where you could hear music. I understand that guys who started sound systems in Southampton, gradually as the years went on, there were a couple of venues where you could hold sound system dances. What venues were they?
Well, you'd have one, like now, we'd have a place, they've got their own sound system, the West Indian Club. They've got their own things there, they've got different DJs.
Yeah.
But that was like the first legal place we've had to sort of really play our music and drink and, you know, well, we're quite well behaved. Yeah, most of us quite well behaved.
Yeah. And that, the West Indian Club opened in...
1970, 76?
76.
Can't quite remember now.
Right, okay. So that was really the first, as late as 76, even though black people had been in Southampton since the 60s.
Yes.
It took the best part of 20 years.
Quite a long time.
Yes, to get that. But before then, were there any halls or places where...
Oh, yes. We used to have a church hall in top of Cranby Avenue, St. Luke's Church Hall.
Yeah.
And we saw a British Legion place not far from here either. Yeah, there were one and two places where we could go.
Yeah. And what were the famous sound systems in Southampton during that time?
Well, I don't know if it's so much the sound system or the music.
Right.
It all depends on the DJ who can accumulate a lot of music that the West Indian likes. Some DJs, they may be good DJ, but they never really buy so-called up-to-date lovers music, as we call it. Yes.
Right. So can you name some of the famous DJs in the community at the time that people used to listen to?
Well, I know Glennis Brown.
Yeah.
He was a brilliant DJ. And Milton.
Yeah.
Milton doing it when he was very young.
Yeah.
He used to come down the cellar and he used to play sometime. And we've got a young guy now named Briggy.
Briggy, yeah.
Yeah, nice chap. And everybody the young likes him, and the old guys like me, and the old girls, they like him because he play a nice mixture.
Yeah.
But the others, when they're playing, they don't give a damn about the older ones. They play for themselves.
Yes.
But I think we can say Briggy.
Briggy,
Yes.
I think he runs Macca Foundation Sound, doesn't he?
Yes, he's brilliant DJ. I like him.
Brilliant, that's good. And he's still going strong now?
Yes, he plays down the West Indian Club sometimes.
Right, okay, that's good. So, inevitably, when you've got a group of people who can't socialise in town because of the racism they faced, and they start their own social scene, their own nightclubs in the Derby Road, St Mary's area, and you know we're talking about loud, bassy music. Yes. We're talking about late hours. Inevitably, there must have been some complaints from the local community in the Derby Road area.
Oh yes. There's been a few conflicts from time to time. I think we've never really sort of learned West Indian because we like our music so loud, and get in our cars and we drive down to maybe the West Indian Club, and we are out there with our music blaring. You know, so obviously, you know, neighbors are going to get a bit fed up with it sometimes. But overall, it's not been too bad. It's not been too bad.
Yeah,
The younger ones have grown up quite quickly.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the younger ones even are more control than we did.
Right.
You know.
And so, with those complaints, did the
Yes.
police ever take any action? Were there
Yes.
police raids?
No, I can't remember if we ever had a raid there. We might have when I was there. But obviously, you know, police come along and talk to whoever is running, whoever is head, and you know, let them know that they got to keep this noise down, and tell the people when they come out there to turn the music off. Or even turn it down. Yeah.
So there was that, and inevitably there must have been the odd case of Shebeen's being closed down as well.
Oh yes. There are quite a few of them been actually closed down because you know, we started to have little problems with the natives, young ones, you know, and the police, I think on a whole, didn't really mind the Shebeens. But when you got young ones who start to frequent the place, you know, a lot of people got worried.
You mean the young West Indians or the
the young
white lads?
natives, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did you find a lot of the young white lads used to come in to enjoy, or just to cause trouble?
No, I must admit, most of them came in to enjoy themselves. Because, you know, when they came to our place, it was something completely different to the way they enjoy themselves.
Yeah. But obviously boisterous behaviour, youthful
yes,
behaviour.
I mean, I'm not saying there wasn't any trouble, but not very often. You know, considering in a Shebeen, there's so many different types of people there.
Yeah.
You know, it went on really well. Really well.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. And so, various types of music. The Shebeens went on for well over 3 decades.
Yes.
And obviously it was somewhere for people to go. What about, that Shebeens aside, what about places before you went? Were there any West Indian pubs in the area?
No. We all managed to find ourselves a local in Northumberland Road.
The Northumberland pub? Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
Because it was in our area.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, we'll all meet up there.
Yeah.
And you go in there sometimes on the weekend, and that's a 50-50 crowd.
Right, 50% black, 50% white.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was our local.
Right.
If you want to find anybody, just head for the Northumberland pub.
Right.
And the chances are that person will be in there, especially if he's a bloke.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So, but sadly, the Northumberland pub is no longer with us.
No.
That's been closed down.
Yes. Yeah, that was a good pub.
Yeah.
Good pub.
Okay, so you had the pub, you had the blues and the Shebeens. What about West Indian businesses? I mean, obviously we know that Derby Road, you know, the Asians had most of the businesses there.
Yes.
Were there any Caribbean businesses that opened?
Well, there was one in I'm trying to remember, was it late 60s, early 70s, at the top of Northumberland Road. That went on for a little while, and then they decided to close. There was another chap, Bobby. He ran a shop in 6 Dials, proper grocery shops. He had everything, but for some reason or other, he didn't get the support that maybe he should have got. And eventually closed down.
Yeah.
No, nobody else has ever had a shop, as far as I can remember.
Right. So this musical thing now has continued because the legacy started in the 60s with the Shebeens and the sound systems.
Yes.
And now you have famous personalities like Craig David, for example.
Yes. Yeah, I knew him when he was a little lad, when they used to practice at the West Indian Club. Yes, it's good.
yeah. And his dad was in a band as well.
Yes, yes. I still see his dad. You know,
yeah.
We travel together sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, right. So, so the musical legacy has continued. And a little bit about sound systems, because I mentioned Macca Foundation.
Yes.
During the latter period, what other famous sound systems were there in Southampton?
To be honest, as I said earlier, it all depends on who is playing the music.
Yeah.
You know, because there are a lot of time I've gone out, even down in the club, and the DJ is the one that matters. He can make you enjoy yourself, or makes you miserable. But no, I'll just say DJs. We have like Peter Cater. He's a regular DJ down there, and I like when he plays most of the time, because he plays music for big people.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he plays lovers music, and
yeah, yeah.
But sometimes you have that one, the young chap who's in the club, and he has all his music on his computer, and he's not bad as well. Not bad as well.
So the West Indian Club was basically the hub
Yes.
for the community.
Yes.
What
yes.
famous big acts can you remember coming and over the decades playing at the West Indian Club? Big artists have been there.
My memory is not that good, but as you know, Sugar Minott, and who did we have recently? There's a few of them, but I can't remember their names.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So some big.
There's some big guys. My memory is there.
But I understand now the West Indian Club maybe there are for limited time now.
Well, there's conflicts going on there, and it's a pity, because as far as I heard, the roof is leaking. It's not very satisfactory the way things are going on.
Yeah.
I wrongly or rightly, I don't really get involved in any of the politics. Because when I want to go out, I go there regardless of who is running it.
Just to enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy myself.
Yeah.
I don't really care. But at the same time, you know, this place has been here a long time. We work hard to get that place. And to see it like going to waste, and we might even lose it, that hurts a bit. Because that place was meant to be a legacy for all West Indian and all the community around the West Indian Club. It's not just a black thing, it's a community place.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it hurts. I for one, you know, I was one of the first ones to ever write a letter to the council inquiring out to go back in the place. And as soon as we got the place, a lot of people changed. You know, people want to make money out of it. So a lot of us who used to work really hard, we drove back, because this place, the West Indian Club, came about through the cricket team. We had a very powerful cricket team.
West Indian cricket
West
team.
Indian cricket team from early. And we're the one who really pushed for that.
And that started in the 60s, the West Indian cricket team.
And when, you know, when things were more or less granted to us, everybody changed and decided to make it a money-making thing. So.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be a pity if we lose that place.
Right. Well, Reds, you've had a lot of experience in the black community. A lot of people know you in Southampton.
Yes.
Anyone watching this video in 50 years' time or 100 years' time, what is your message to the West Indian community? I mean, you've seen how it's going today. What is your message?
I think we've got to learn to change a little bit. We've got to adapt to this country. A lot of us come from the West Indies, and you think that they're still in the West Indies. You know, we've got to realize that we're in a foreign country, And we've been living here for years, most of us. We have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And we still have some of these backward ideas that we used to have when we were very young and in the West Indies. I think we should really try and adapt.
Right.
And, you know, just remember, this is where we live. We're not in Jamaica now. We love Jamaica. It's where we were born, but this is England.
Right. Okay, well, Mr. Reds, thank you very much for giving us the time for this interview, and you know, I just wanted to say a big thank you, and you know, let's hope that obviously everything, you know, with the West Indian Club remains,
yes,
and its legacy remains, and no doubt, you know, you've been very instrumental in that. So thank you very much today.
You are welcome.
Thank you.